Welcome back to Texas Truck Channel. I'm Brian.
I'm Craig.
Well, we've got something that we've both fallen in love with more than we ever thought we would, and it's a freaking Chevy Suburban. This was a high country, and because it's Suburban, it's long like a school bus, and because it has air ride, it can be as tall as a Land Rover, and that's, well, stay tuned for off-road test. Yeah, that works. All right, let's talk about the nose of this thing. First of all, it's got the bow tie, but because it's high country, it's got the bronze bars around it. We know it's filthy, but we had to do some mud work, so we decided to leave it dirty.
It looks really good with the green.
The green works really well.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the Monroney, that's the important part. This is sage silver metallic over jet black / mocha interior. There's no jet black in there, Craig. It's all brown. Yeah. Okay, anyways, here we go. It comes out to, starting price with this trim and the diesel and four-wheel drive is $82,900. But once you throw in all these options, it's $92,750. There's a lot in there. You've got Super Cruise, you've got the rear seat DVD stuff, which I would probably skip that. And you've got the power assisted steps, also would probably skip that. Giant sunroof, air ride, get that. And that's pretty much it. So about 10 grand in options. I'm impressed with it. The color in the sun, I don't think the camera's gonna get it. It's really metallic. There's a lot of flake in there. It looks super cool. That's kind of it. You don't have tow hooks down here. You don't have fog lights down here, but you do have your radar sensors left and right. And you do have an excellent 360 camera system. That is wildly impressive. But even with this non-off-road nose, 27 plus degrees of approach angle because you can lift it up so much. That's just impressive. I'm just really, really happy with that. Coming on the side, you've got the good old GM kind of snods. You've got the air vent over here, which a lot of brands are going to. And then up here, instead of, you know, truck beds have the flag on the side, on the bed side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is so you know, people know what you paid for right here. High country and you bought a little bit of a mountain right there. That's cool. Coming on down, I'm blown away by this right here, Craig. These are 22s. When you drive it, what do you think they are?
Not 22s.
17s, maybe 18s if you had to. It rides so well because big old air shocks right in there. Real happy with that. But wrapped inside of those air shocks, Craig, are magnetic ride dampers, something that GM has really been the founding father of for non-European markets. In fact, Ferrari licenses that technology for their cars from GM because they made it first. On this tire, it is a Bridgestone. It's a highway tires. It's a 275/50/22 and gets the job done. Super quiet and not meant for mud, but it seems to get that done too. Wait, look, there's a plug in the sidewall. See, look how it's been run low pressure. Interesting. The right rear has a flow leak too. I'm just putting that out there. All right, coming on around. Suburban on the door, you get the power step, which I still wouldn't get, but at least it's not too low when it comes down. And night, it is cool. We'll put a picture in here. It has LED lighting coming down. Looks like you're walking up to a nightclub. It's kind of cool. I dig that. Up top, you've got a kind of satin-looking roof rail system. You can put roof rack stuff on here. No, it's not a Toyota or a Jeep, but you could put a tent up here if you really wanted to. You have the button for the auto lock on every single door handle. I love that. Nothing more frustrating than going to a keyless go car and only the front doors do it. That's silly. Good job, GM. We're about 3 miles back now in the wheelbase, and it's the same thing back here. Air ride, four-wheel independent suspension, long gone is the stick axle, but let's get back here, Craig. Fuel door test. Do you think it's capless?
I don't know.
Have you filled this thing up?
I have not.
I haven't either.
I haven't had to.
Because the range is 583 miles as it was dropped off to us. That's wild. I like that a lot.
No, it is capless.
It does have a valve, and it has the depth filler right here, which is a part of the diesel world. Okay, that's fine. We'll talk more about MPG in a minute when we go for the drive. Craig's got some comments there. There's some GM in here still.
The good news is it's so far away from up there where you sit, you won't hear it.
I've never heard that till just now, so just don't lean on it. It's fine. Coming on back, you got Chevy in the taillights.
The Eurolens.
Eurolens.
Yeah.
This cap's really far away from the actual light. This is going to be a hazed over, nasty piece of garbage in about 10 years.
Come on now.
No, I'm saying the sun's going to eat that alive. That's all I'm saying. You're going to be out here with a 3M kit and polishing it out, but it looks good now. Coming on back, my main complaint is that doesn't open. Kind of a bummer. But the thing I do like is this Duramax right here. And
surprising this is the only spot it says it.
Yeah.
Really surprising.
Really surprised.
There's no other way you would know that.
No, there's no other way. By the way, it has tow package. This thing tows a bunch. Put that on the screen right here. And let's hear what it sounds like. Not bad, doesn't sound like a V6 to me, and that's because, well, it's not. This puppy is a 3-liter inline 6 this way, not this way.
As God intended.
As God intended, real happy with that. And look how big that turbo is right here. She's up there. In fact, you can hear this thing going, ruh, 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 ruh. That valve opens and closes after things turn off. It might happen in a minute.
Lots of cooling going on.
Lots of cooling, lots of industrial sounds. But my favorite part about this diesel is that not only does it make 277 horsepower, which is just enough. 460 foot-pounds of torque, like at idle it feels like, which is probably the reason I like it the most, because it carries itself really well. It manages its weight of this thing. It's a big truck. You just don't have to ever lean into it. It does a good job. You can get a 6.2 V8 here, which has the same torque number, but it has to run out and it gets a little more horsepower. It's like 400 plus horsepower. This thing makes all the cool Tonka truck, school bus, dump truck sounds that your inner child wants to hear, but none of the bad stuff. It's not thrashy, it's not poorly made, it sounds and feels refined. I'm happy with that. Time for interior.
All right, let's check out the interior of this high country Suburban. Also, I love that Chevy keeps it Tahoe and Suburban. It's separate. It's not just XL. I like that it's different. That's,
or Max.
That's nice. Yeah, or Max.
Yeah.
So let's open this up because we can't split the window. Wish we could. Brian, we get in here and let's go ahead and pull down the third. The third. Oh, that is the third row. Okay, that's the third row. Look how much room you have in here. This is our bag, our camera bag. Put it in long ways. I can put another camera bag right behind it. There is so much room
Usually,
in here.
this is the room for a third row.
Right.
That's wild.
But we also get under here, we get a little bit more storage and some your diesel plug for a heater, your block heater.
Yeah.
And then, Brian, you can fold the seats down with this button here. It goes right back down. And then,
my gosh.
Let's bring it right back up. Same button.
That's
the
fast.
other direction.
Look how fast that is.
Pretty nice.
But wait, there's more.
You can hit those buttons again, and you can fold down the other rows. Let's see if that actually happens, because we get. Oh, it worked!
Crap!
Now look at this, all this room you have.
I'm arms out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's impressive.
All right, get down into the second row, Brian. Before we get to the second row, I want to show you how to get to the third row. Third row, you pull this handle once, and then twice. And it pops up and you get plenty of room, and Brian, there's actually a decent amount of room back there. That's pretty nice. Again, you still have storage for luggage. Very nice. Pull this little lever here, you can slide it back. I like that you get some flexibility there. That's really nice packaging feature. Brian, before I get into the seats, I almost skipped the door. Padded armrest in the second row, or door sill. Thank you very much. Of course, your armrest is padded as well. Mid-level cubby, and then room for a bottle down at the bottom.
Oh, but no peasant lockers.
No peasant lockers. It's a Chevy, not a GMC.
Okay, all right.
Okay, well, before I get into the seats, I want to point out this little piping right here on the side. I think that's a fine detail that they put in here that I really like and really sets it apart. And that's part of the high country package. That looks really good in this mocha. There's your black, I guess.
Oh yeah, there's the jet black.
There's the jet black.
Yeah, okay.
It's also just known as black.
Just black. Okay.
Okay, but let's get in here and let's see what kind of room we have. I've got headroom. I've got a panoramic roof. It is comfy, Brian, and I've got this thing that does something. I don't really care.
Yeah,
let's get you in here and see if you get headroom. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if you just recline it back and no one's behind you, it can be done. I bet there's more headroom in the third row for me. All right, pop and lock, put that thing up. Headrest. And there is.
Okay, so if you're 6'4", you need to ride in the third row of this.
Right, and also I've just realized just now, this should be a 4-row vehicle. There's so much back there.
Yeah, there's enough room. Yeah.
To the front.
All right, Brian, get into the front row. Let's check out the door first. We get a padded door sill, which is very nice. I like the wood trim right below it. Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nice padded armrest, very comfy. And I get auto up and down on the front, but not the rear. Very interesting. You'd think it would have that in the high country. Same kind of door style, mid-level little tier or storage bin, and then room for a bottle down there. Before I jump in, Brian, payload capacity on this bad boy, 1342. Not as much as you would think for this big of a vehicle, but what happens when you get all these options and extra length of a vehicle,
and glass,
it takes a lot of weight, and so you lose some carrying capacity. One of the best moves you can do in this vehicle is not get that panoramic roof. That payload would go up and you'd get headroom, so win. Let's get into this nice comfy seat with the same piping, but Brian, the high country stitching, because you got to know what you bought. Very comfy place to be, I have to say. And Brian, one of my favorite features, I'm going to go ahead and point this out. Oh, look at that little welcome package. Oh, yeah. We're in the woods.
That's
yeah,
high
nice.
Country, Craig. That's high country.
Oh, high country. Ooh, yeah. Very nice. But Brian, you get this right here. This is the shifter. Thoughts?
Look, on paper, I like that because it's not taking up a T-handle, right?
Right. You get space here.
I would prefer that any day, but intuitively, because I've driven Suburbans in the past, I feel like it should be on the column. It seems weird to me. I shouldn't be complaining about it, but my redneck inside of me is like, it should be up here.
I like it. I think it's the best thing out there. I hate the rotary knob on the Rams, and here's why. Sorry, Ram guys. Go ahead and tell me in the keyboard comments. I got too many other rotary knobs, and then I get confused all rotary knobs. This is different enough from these knobs that I can actually I know something's different going on. But then it's out of the way. It doesn't take up any space like we talked about earlier. But also GM in other models, when you have the shifter here, it blocks the CarPlay and the screen. So
yeah, that's
this
true.
kind of solves all those problems. I like that a lot.
It's classic function over form, and I have to like it because of that.
This is the way to do it. Thanks for doing it that way. Let's start.
Well, although I got into a fight with someone in the comments the other day talking about how the column shifter is the worst thing ever. Let's clarify. Real men shift on the column. Just gonna put it out there.
Yeah. All right, Brian, let's get over to the command center over here. We get a lot of buttons for a lot of things. I'm not gonna go over all of them, but thanks for giving us all those buttons. Here's the most important button over here though, Brian, because GM does it better than anyone else for the heads-up display. You get physical keys to adjust what you want to see, where you want to position, and the brightness level. It's not buried in any menu options in here.
It's never missing
That is the best way to do that. Let's start this puppy up and see what we get. Knock, 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 knock. Yes. Okay. Well, these gauges are great in here. Very customizable. I like how you can change these. Drive summary, which changes every time you start the vehicle, and then you get your trip summary, very nice. And then you can toggle through and change settings, and you can do a lot of things with this display. I love how you can change what's in there. What do you want in the heads-up display? What do you want on the left or the right? Very nice. We have the tire pressure on because we're having an issue with that left rear tire, so we're keeping an eye on that. And then we have the transmission temp. We got the full set of gauges on here. Down here, oil pressure, battery, fuel, and temp. You can make this more simple where it's just speed and fuel. If you want it that simple, you can, and I like the flexibility of that. And then of course you get your warning gauges down at the bottom. Very nice. Moving over here, this works, Brian. This just works.
This works.
It has wireless Qi charging, wireless CarPlay, and
has CarPlay messed up once for you?
it has not messed up on me once. This is the only vehicle I've been in a long time.
Yep.
I have not had a single glitch, and that's great. So you just hit that. We're on Brian's CarPlay, and we can. It just works. Or if I just want to go back to the native system, I hit that button, and I go right back to it. Very interesting over here. We got this little cubby. Is it a vent? Is it a holder? Is it a phone holder? I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's for Hot Wheels.
But at least they gave us the option of doing something here, and you actually have to. This releases it. This actually locked it.
That's probably a very expensive thing to manufacture, actually.
Yeah, very interesting they did that. Odd thing to miss here that GM doesn't do in either of their trucks anymore. No sunglass holders up here. But down here, Brian, we get this little, see this button here? We hit that button. Ooh, party trick. You can move the drinks to the back. You can get more room down here, and then you get more storage underneath it. More storage up front.
That's where your GAT goes. But, but as a driver, where's your armrest now?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I just push it forward.
Okay.
And I still get my armrest. So you get the best of both worlds.
That's the move.
And I get a little more secret storage back here. Really love the interior of this, Brian. But enough of that. Let's see how fast it goes.
Let's go.
All right, Brian, we're in the Chevy High Country.
Yes, sir, we
are.
With
the 3-liter Duramax, which made the least amount of horsepower in any vehicle this size ever. 277 horsepower.
Yeah, it's kind of low.
But 460 pound-feet of torque.
Kind of high.
What mode?
Sport mode. I've actually raised the ground clearance to make the shocks stiffer.
Okay.
Just because. And for auto, so we can brake torque the heck out of this thing.
Brake torque it and let's hit it.
Traction off, brake to the floor. It's hard to not drive through the brakes. Which we just did.
Torque.
Launched at 3,000 RPM, shifts at 3,900 RPM, 3,800 RPM now, 50 miles an hour, 53, 4, 5, 6, 7, 60 miles an hour.
Okay. Well, with me in the vehicle, Brian,
doesn't sound good.
8.33.
8.33, okay.
And on the way over here, I said to be quote unquote fast, we've talked about before, you kind of need to be in the 7s. Did we get 7 without me in it?
7.93.
Okay, we just made it.
It can be done.
Okay,
it can be done.
Just made it.
And that was we had 2 runs under 7. That was the fastest of the 2. It was 7.98 and then 7.93.
And look, it's not quick, but it's fast enough, right?
Yeah, and it never feels like you're like, oh man, I can't merge the traffic. It never feels like that.
Yeah, you don't have that problem.
Yeah,
you can pass people, you can merge. Oh, that's fine.
But it doesn't run out. Like if you're a V8 guy, you're going to be a little let down.
Yeah. So,
but if you're a diesel guy, you're going to pay the price less here than you ever have before.
You get a discount with this motor.
$1,500 off.
And you get how much mileage?
We've been seeing as high as 26, 27.
Yes.
But I've been seeing in my drive, I do the more urban route, I've been cracking 21, 22.
Yeah.
And your highway's a higher number.
And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing 22 kind of in the city, which is really good for a vehicle this size.
Absolutely.
And up, it almost gets better on the highway. In fact, I have some roads where I can go 60, and then I have some roads where I can go 75. I actually got just as good, if not slightly better, on the roads going 75 than I did 60.
How crazy is that?
This is a cruiser, man. This thing is designed to gobble up distance and comfort, and you get good mileage. It's pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome. So let's talk ride and drive. We've got air ride, obviously, but not only do we have that, we have mag ride as well.
Yes.
So the shocks that are inside of those airbags are actually magnetically charged or filled with fluid, so you can make them stiff or soft. The calibration is perfect. We've driven a lot of cars with mag ride. This is the best calibration for its purpose that I think we've ever had in MagRide.
Right. For example, right now it's riding smooth.
Right.
But then if we take a turn at some speed, you don't get a lot of body lean.
Sport mode or not, you don't get a lot of body lean. It just does it.
In fact, it's almost kind of catches you off guard.
It does, because I'm like, oh, it's going to lean, and then it just doesn't.
And then it just takes the turn, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, it's wild. So real impressed with that, real pleased with that. And then the air ride obviously just gives you so much flexibility.
Yes.
If you're towing, it's not going to drag the rear anywhere. It'll self-level. If you're going off-road, you can watch our off-road video. You can do stuff there. If you have an elderly person that can't get in a car this tall, it gets on the ground.
And let's talk about air ride. Everybody says, oh, it's not reliable. Semis have airbag suspension, Brian.
Yeah, and they have forever.
And they need to be super reliable.
Yeah.
So
they've got to cover a couple million miles at a time.
Okay, MagRides and airbags, that's one party trick. It has another party trick called Super Cruise.
Super Cruise. This is our first time testing Super Cruise, which we're not going to help on this episode with that because we're just not that impressed with it. But people want to know. Lay it on us.
Its party trick is that on a divided 2-lane highway in both directions, so 2 lanes this way, 2 lanes that way.
Or interstate.
Interstate. It can actually, if you come up on a slower vehicle, if you're going the speed limit, it's going 60 and you're trying to go 65.
Right.
And there's a lane open, it'll automatically do a lane change for you. You don't tell it to, it just does it.
Just does it.
Then it automatically comes back. That's pretty cool. That worked flawlessly.
Yeah, there's a lot of self-driving lane keep systems that you can hit the blinker and then it'll change lanes for you.
This just does it.
This does it on its own.
It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. But outside of that, Craig, if you're not on a road that is designated and studied by Super Cruise, it just doesn't do lane centering at all.
At all. And it's very frustrating because around here there's a lot of rural roads that we just can't use it on, where if you had a good lane centering system in Kia or Toyota or some other manufacturers, it just works in all the rural roads. Yeah, it's nice.
Basically the cheapest Hyundai Kia stuff will do it really well all the time. We had the Telluride last week, and that thing will go miles without your intervention.
Right.
Miles, because it just has it checked and it's good to go.
So it's cool. It's just, to me, it's not worth checking the box to get.
Agreed. That's where I'm at as well. Yep. All that being said, I think you'll struggle to find something to do anything family related on the planet.
Yes.
Towing, bring your ATVs with you, your boats, that kind of stuff. You can go actually off-roading with this thing a little bit. Do the school run. You said earlier, you've won the school pickup line if you show up in this thing.
You show up in this thing, you won with your You won.
You won, exactly. And there's one last thing we need to let the people know, Craig. You've had a little bit of a lispy thing going on today.
Yeah, for those out there notice that have caught on to it, our diehard viewers and that have stayed on
our keen-eyed viewers,
our keen viewers. I got a little bit of chip in my tooth. That's because Brian, we're car guys. We don't just talk about it. We don't just drive the new ones. We work on cars.
We do.
Safety first. Always have a helper. Have protection where you need it. I didn't do that, and I paid the price.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of an issue. That'll be fixed soon, we hope.
Everyone knows in the car world, PPE when you're working and grinding things is just this. You just squint your eyes and you keep grinding away.
Yeah.
It's kind of what happened with the teeth here.
Could have been a lot worse. Thankful it wasn't, but it'll be back to business soon. Some channels ask you to buy them a coffee. If you want to buy me a tooth, son.
There's a membership link below.
Yeah.
That would help.
It would help, just saying. With that, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you can understand what I'm saying. And if you couldn't, I'm sorry. Hopefully subtitles work in the YouTube closed captions.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
See you on the next one.